Shane Hamilton. I'm the Chief Executive of Aboriginal Housing. It's about 5:15 in the morning after what's probably felt like a fairly long night. Tossing and turning probably, just trying to get comfortable, dozing in and out of sleep, and any little noise that sort of wakes you up. And so I think for me, you can imagine, it's one night, but you can imagine doing that night after night, day after day. And I suppose my reflection is really around, people that are probably don't sleep at night through danger of, for their own safety. So, they probably spend a lot of the nights awake and then probably trying to sleep somewhere safe during the day, which is probably a lot safer with more people around. So I suppose the whole experience for me is really just highlighted just how tough it would really be if you're under this constantly under this sort of pressure. And so it's probably for me highlights just how important the donations are and the work that we do, particularly the work we do at Aboriginal Housing. And I suppose for me, the way I'm feeling now is probably what can we do better? What can we do to improve and support people so they don't actually get to that point where they become homeless? So I think for me that's been a really I think that's hit home to me, that when somebody is living in housing and does get evicted and then they can't live with family, or they've overstayed their welcome, where do they go to? And on nights like this, it's pretty tough. So, we sort of deal with it, not directly in Aboriginal housing where we are, but we're in the industry where we know that there's not enough housing. The demand for housing outstrips supply, and so we sort of live with that every day in terms of us trying to strive to improve people's lives through housing, and it's an opportunity for us to contribute in more ways than what we already do on a day-to-day basis. So that was the main reason for me, and again to highlight the plight of Aboriginal people who become homeless and are living on the streets and those sort of things. And so I suppose when you work in the industry, you see it a lot, and you talk to people a lot about their experiences, and you understand the pressures that people are under. So for me, probably not, or less than people who probably don't work in this industry and are not necessarily always aware with it. Whereas I think when you work in the housing space, you're always aware of the plight of people who are homeless. I think the way to tackle it, some of these, the bigger housing issues, and homelessness is you've got all the right people in the room that can really make a difference, whether it's whether they work in housing or not. If you think about just that whole issue around not enough supply. The way things are now, government will never be able to fund the number of houses that we need, and so we have to look at innovative ways to bring more affordable housing to the market. And I think the CEO of Vinnie's was talking about that last night, which is very true. And so a lot of the people in the room who work in other industries that are linked and associated with supply of housing, which might be in land development, it might be in planning space, it might be in the finance area and the banking area, that where a lot of community housing organisations and governments are looking at different alternate ways of where they can get supply into the marketplace, particularly around the affordable housing space. So I think what it does highlight is more of those people that probably don't generally come together on nights like last night. They do come together, so it's it's a good thing. Yeah. So more conversations, more coming together of people who really can make a difference, and I think the Governor General said last night, when you've got this many CEOs in the room, a lot of things can happen, and hopefully, the conversations that I've had with people and ideas that people share through the night, who knows, might turn into something that's really that helps that problem around supply.